Hey friends! I'm so glad you're here with me today. Today we're going way back in time to explore some amazing stories from history. We're exploring a cool link between India and the Philippines, and how these two places are connected in surprising ways. It's a deep connection woven into our languages, traditions, and cultures, even if we don't always notice it. For a super long time, India has influenced Southeast Asia, shaping the region in many ways. Traders, smart people, and missionaries traveled across the oceans, sharing what they knew and bringing new ideas. This changed the area, leaving its mark on art, buildings, religion, and language, making everything more colorful and unique. This sharing went both ways, with people learning from each other and growing together. Southeast Asia also influenced India, sending back its own ideas, goods, and traditions. This made a rich mix of shared history and culture that we still see and celebrate today. So let's dive in and see how this amazing mix reached our beloved Philippines, shaping who we are. Indian culture didn't arrive in the Philippines all at once. It happened slowly, little by little. One big influence was the spread of Indian religions. Hinduism, with its many gods and goddesses, came first. It brought ideas like karma, dharma, and reincarnation. These ideas fit in with what Filipinos already believed. Later, Buddhism came to the islands. It brought a message of peace, enlightenment, and nirvana. Both religions changed how Filipinos think about spirituality. Trading was really important for spreading Indian influence. Kingdoms influenced by India grew strong in Southeast Asia. These kingdoms, like Champa and Srivijaya, became big trading centers. Filipinos, who were good sailors, joined in this busy trade. They sailed to these kingdoms, trading goods and ideas. This led to languages mixing. Indian languages, especially Sanskrit, started changing the languages of the area, including those that became Filipino. Let's look at some examples. Sanskrit, one of the oldest and most influential languages from India, had a big impact on the Filipino language, shaping many of the words we use today. Many everyday Filipino words actually have their roots in this ancient language, showing how languages can travel and change over time. But how did Sanskrit words make their way into the Filipino language and become part of daily conversation? The answer lies in Prakrit, a group of old Indian languages that developed from Sanskrit and were spoken by many people. Prakrit was the language of regular people, used for trading, business, and everyday talking in markets and villages. Over time, these Prakrit words blended into Filipino, becoming part of the language spoken by families and communities. For example, the word guro, which means teacher in Filipino, is one such word. It comes directly from the Sanskrit word guru, which also means teacher or guide, showing a clear connection. Another example is biyaya, meaning blessing, which comes from the Sanskrit vijaya, meaning victory or success, showing how meanings can shift. These words are more than just vocabulary. They tell a story of ancient connections, shared history, and cultural exchange between India and the Philippines. Sanskrit didn't just change words, it changed Filipino culture and government too. The idea of a raja, a ruler or king, came from the Sanskrit word raja. The word Batala, a powerful god in Old Tagalog belief, probably comes from the Sanskrit word Bataraka, meaning noble lord. Even how some early Filipino governments worked showed Indian influence. This shows how much Indian culture became part of Filipino society. From how we spoke to how we organized ourselves, Sanskrit was everywhere. Sanskrit was important, but it wasn't the only Indian language that mattered. Across the vast Indian subcontinent, many languages flourished, each leaving its own mark on history and culture. Tamil, another old language from South India, also played a significant part in shaping the region's identity and influence. Tamil traders were busy on the sea routes, navigating the Indian Ocean and connecting distant lands through commerce and culture. They set up trading posts all over Southeast Asia, establishing vibrant communities and networks that lasted for generations. These Tamil communities brought their language and customs, adding to the mix of languages and traditions in the area and influencing local cultures. Some Filipino words, especially those about trade and sailing, probably come from Tamil, showing the deep connections formed through centuries of exchange. For example, tindahan, meaning store or shop, might be from the Tamil word kandagam, meaning marketplace, highlighting this linguistic influence. This shows how different Indian languages made Filipino words richer, weaving a shared story of trade, migration, and cultural exchange. Like Hinduism, Buddhism also changed Filipino language and culture. Pali, the important language of Theravada Buddhism, brought new religious words. Words like guhitna for conscience, kalma for calm, and dukkha for suffering became Filipino words. These words show the big ideas in Buddhist teachings. We see Pali mostly in religious words, but some Pali words are now used in everyday Filipino. Did you know ancient Filipinos had their own writing? It's called Baybayin, and it looks a lot like Old Indian writing like Brahmi. This isn't a mistake. Experts think Baybayin came from Brahmi or something similar. This probably happened through trade with kingdoms influenced by India. Baybayin isn't used much anymore, but it shows the lasting connection between India and the Philippines. India's influence on the Philippines is more than just language. It's in our art, buildings, and religious practices. Look closely, and you'll see India in the designs of our old textiles or in the amazing buildings of old temples. Even some of our folk beliefs and superstitions come from Indian stories. These aren't just copies. Filipinos changed these things, creating a unique mix that is truly Filipino. Even now, the connection is still there. The Philippines and India are friends, connected by shared history and culture. From the words we use to the stories we tell, India still shapes Filipino identity. Knowing this shared history helps us understand how rich and diverse our culture is. It reminds us that we are part of a bigger story, a story of human connection across the world and time. Mabuhay!